Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of ATA Declassified. We're finally back and ironically we're going to have another episode about Origins, but this time it's going to be about the new chapter of the Assassin's Creed franchise. We're going to discuss the announcement of the game at E3, showcase our first impressions on its several features, and of course we're going to talk about the potential modern day aspect of the game. All that and more on ATA Declassified.
Greetings Assassins, Wayne here and welcome back to ATA Declassified, the show that discusses all the great many things about Assassin's Creed, but this is the floor of Access to the Animus. Me, I'm just one of the hosts. Today I'm joined by the lovely and awesome Marco. How are you doing, sir?
Hello everyone and hello Wayne. I'm doing real fine.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we recorded our proto episode.
Yes.
A lot of stuff happened in between, but here we are. We're back.
Yeah. Well, we took, much like the Assassin's Creed itself, we took a leave of absence, really, just to refresh the batteries, think of some new ideas, and yeah, it was all really about the creative liberties of what we can do as a show, what we could talk about, and that sort of thing. And we didn't really want to force out episodes unnecessarily so, and that sort of thing. So we decided to take a break and refresh the batteries, and we are back. And to be honest, it's really cool. It's really exciting because what has just been announced, and we've just had Assassin's Creed Origins has finally been revealed. Marco, what happened here, sir?
What better moment than getting back after a new game for Assassin's Creed has been announced. And I'm super excited because of all the content that we can create, and especially for the podcast, because now we can comment on what happened at E3, of course, and all the information that we have about Assassin's Creed Origins, main character, and all of that stuff. And we're going to get into that in a moment. But yeah, I'd like to first start by talking about a bit about the game announcement itself, because it's been 2 years, right?
Yeah. To be fair, it actually has been 2 years because we normally get the year gap from the next game. But yeah, really, it has actually been 2 years. Damn. Yeah. That is actually a long time.
Yeah, and well, of course, every Assassin's Creed fan has surely has consumed the movie and checked all the details and the story, and there has been a lot of discussion about that. But really, especially the hardcore fans are interested in the games, and this is all that we have been expecting since Ubisoft announced they were taking a year off for the game, for Assassin's Creed. So everyone was excited, or at least I was, but I saw many fans on social media being excited and waiting for the announcement that didn't happen on the during the Ubisoft conference. Were you shocked by the announcement on the Microsoft conference?
Well, the overall reveal at the Microsoft conference was surprising, but I think one of the most interesting things is that you got to compare it to the way previous Assassin's Creed games were revealed. Just in general, I mean, going back to Syndicate, there was that big live stream, that pre-made video package that they streamed out that showed the behind-the-scenes development of Syndicate and the way Unity kind of it failed and that sort of thing. And they really put a lot of time and effort into revealing that. This time round, at first it was very subtle. We got the little tease with the logo, a new era begins, and it was oh yeah, okay, a new era begins. They've taken a step back, they've reevaluated the franchise, which you really would expect them to do after Unity and Syndicate.
And after the break.
Yeah, especially. And going into E3, I don't know about you, but the one thing I was expecting to see was a CGI trailer, which they haven't done. They didn't reveal the game or show a CGI trailer, which is very surprising because it's almost been a staple of the franchise. You know, you have a great and well-produced CGI trailer with a great soundtrack, with a catchy song that will get in everyone's head, and that sort of thing. But this time round, when it came up to just coming up to the Microsoft press conference, it's almost as if they went, right, we're not going to sugarcoat this anymore. We're just going to hit home and just show the game. We've taken a 2-year break to develop this. We've put a lot of heart and soul and passion and effort into reinvigorating this franchise, and we're just going to put our cards on the table right out of the gate. And I really actually appreciate that. But the Microsoft showing was quite surprising. I didn't really expect that at all. I thought they would save Assassin's Creed, or at least the demo that they showed in the Microsoft conference. I thought they would have at least saved that for the Ubisoft conference. You know, show the big revitalization of Origins on their home turf, as it were. I reckon there was some deal worked out between Microsoft and Ubisoft to have this shown. Likely. No problem with that, but overall, the actual reveal from the initial tease on Twitter and social media, and then the slow build up to the trailers and the demo at E3, and then after the actual conference itself, there was a ton of live coverage, the 30-minute live stream that they did right after the Ubisoft conference showcasing the game. They are not shy to show this thing off, which is brilliant when you compare it to what they did with Unity and Syndicate. That it felt very behind closed doors. They were. It almost seemed like they were quite nervous to show that game off. Whereas this one, that they are really brash with this game. They're going, look at it, look at what we've made. That they're very proud to show off what they've done so far, and with that, I get excited. If Ubisoft are willing to show more of that game, like right out of the gate, it gets me excited because I know they have a lot more faith in this game than they have done previously, or at least that's what I feel and get the impression of when it came to the reveal. What about you?
I had the same impression. I was very surprised that there wasn't a CGI trailer, and for what I saw on social media, many fans were expecting it and not seeing it. Some actually got crazy about it. But yeah, because like you said, it had become sort of like a tradition, like since the very first AC, I think, and like changing the formula, even like at E3. It was something really different than usual, but at the same time showing a gameplay instead of like a trailer, like a CGI. It was actually, here is the game already. Like we are showing you how it is. We're not showing you the beautiful CGI trailer, and I don't expect it to be released afterwards, because some fans have also said maybe it's going to be released or revealed at Gamescom, but I don't expect something like that. And at the same time, seeing the developers saying that how they are proud of the game and how they actually wanted to show the game to the fans, to the public, it really is consistent to the idea of directly showing how the game is without, like you said, sugarcoating it. And I really liked how they showed it at the Microsoft conference, because they actually showed like a trailer and then a gameplay trailer. Like some other fans, I was a bit disappointed to see just a very short presentation at the Ubisoft conference plus the trailer. Although the presentation by Ashraf Ismail was really heartfelt, at least for what I saw, because he really said that they were really proud of what they achieved and what they did in the past 3 years and a half. And yeah, I was a bit surprised that they didn't dedicate that much time to Origins during the conference, and actually they showed it in the post-conference. But when they showed it, it was 30 minutes, so it wasn't just a brief video. So it actually sort of like balanced the scales for me in a way. And after that, like all the fans had the chance to try the game, and many YouTubers were able to show their personal gameplay videos on the internet. So now all the fans can see all the many different aspects of the game, all the mini games, all the features, even the ones that weren't shown in the 30 minutes gameplay with Ashraf Ismail. So I am like overall I'm very happy about how it was presented. Like with it had its peaks and its lows, but overall I like how the game was presented. And I like the setting, so
yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you were right about the post stream. Like again, it was 30 minutes. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
You can tell what they want to show. They want to show a lot of it, and realistically, you can't show a 30-minute demo in the middle of a conference. Like you can't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can fully appreciate them going, right, we've got this 30-minute demo at the end, but it would have been nice to be told that maybe during the conference, like when Ash came out and he really spoke his mind and he was very passionate, which is what I love about Ash. He's very open and you can just tell by his demeanor, his posture, the smile on his face, the way he speaks, like, he really loves this franchise, and he really has a lot of faith and love for this project. And it was like, I wish he would have just said, stay tuned till the end of the stream, and you'll see a bit more, or something like that. Because
I'm not sure. Maybe he did.
Did he?
Because they had, I think they had a very brief. They actually went on the, I don't remember the name of the place where they were actually playing the game. They actually said stay tuned or something.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Right. Yeah.
They actually did it. But yeah.
I remember.
Anyway,
I remember that there was. I think there was like a title, a little auto cue at the bottom of the screen as well. Stay tuned for more Assassin's Creed Origins as well.
Yeah.
There was some screen cues as well. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the way they handled the reveal of Origins, I really like it, because it shows they have faith in this. They have faith in this project. They have a lot of love and heart and passion in it, and when they are willing to show as much as they did, even if it was alpha, beta build or whatever, they're not shy. Yeah. They're not shy to show this off, and when they are not shy to show it off, I get excited. Which basically leads into my next question for you. What did you think of the actual demo? I mean, there was so much to talk about in terms of what they showed.
Yeah.
Because you basically got the Microsoft demo, then you got the 30-minute demo, and then there was other demos and other presentations after that.
Yes.
There is so much to talk about, but just trying to keep it short, because we could talk about this till doomsday. We could talk about this till the day was released, till the release date. I know.
Yeah.
If this podcast is about 5 months long in terms of its runtime, we're still talking about the game.
About the first demo.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you think of the demo? What did you think about it, sir? Tell me.
I have to say, I am pretty impressed, because being part of ATA, of course we went through not just the 30 minutes demo that was shown at the conference, but also we went through all the other gameplay that were shown, that were published on YouTube by the YouTubers that were at E3. So I actually had the chance to see all the different elements that the demo and the demos brought to the players. And I actually am pretty impressed to the degree of all the things that you can do, both as side quests, as mini games, all the elements that the game world can provide to you. And it for me it seems like it's continuing the philosophy behind AC4. I remember back in the day Ash saying that they wanted the player to be distracted by all the kind of things that he has around him, so while he is going towards an objective he can see other stuff that he can do. And I think the same philosophy was transported to at least to Origins, because in the how can I say, in the gameplay demos that weren't following the quests specifically, I actually saw many players trying different things. So there was a certain YouTuber going and trying the underwater gameplay, and there were other people trying the combat, which is so different from the, and we're going to get into that later. But yeah, I'm impressed because of all the new features, and how the other the classic features have been improved.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I am surprised, and I still don't have a very specific opinion about the fact that, like, the RPG elements and like this new addition to the game.
Yeah.
Because I've seen fans saying that you have to actually try it, like hands-on, to have your opinion. Because really it's the most striking upgrade of the game, like the most striking, the main feature that has been changed for the game. And this affects many systems in the game, because it changes the combat in a way. It changes the way in which you manage the quests and stuff, the way in which you have your character customization and progression. So yeah, I'm really I can't wait to try somehow the demo, or like a future demo, to see hands-on how the RPG elements actually affect the gameplay. And yeah, that's the main element that struck me. And what about you? What hit you when you saw the demos? Were you positively impressed? Or?
Oh, I was jumping for joy, but mainly because of the RPG mechanics. I've been saying, going all the way back to Assassin's Creed 4, funny enough, that Assassin's Creed done right could be a phenomenal RPG. I just don't mean like an Assassin's Creed game with RPG mechanics. I mean a full-blown RPG game. You can create your own assassin, and then you have your own story, within a certain linear narrative, of course, but you can experience what it's like to be an assassin from a full RPG perspective. And what Origins brings is yet another step in that direction. It started with, really, to me, with Unity, with the character customization in Unity, how you could have the different weapon archetypes, the different character classes as they were. You know, you could be more stealth and less armored. You can be more bulky, hard hitting, and that sort of thing. And then you have the skill trees, and the skill trees in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And then now in Origins, I feel that they've taken the next step, which is, of course, combat, exploration, storytelling, quest lines, and that sort of thing. I'm really excited for it because I love The Witcher 3. I think The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal game, which, in my mind, really sets a new precedent for video games in terms of their production value and the way publishers and developers manage those games, you know, pre and post launch and that sort of thing. Yeah. And I hold Witcher 3 on such a high pedestal. It's sickening. I'm disgusted by how high I put the game on such that pedestal. So without a doubt, I will end up comparing Assassin's Creed Origins to Witcher 3. I can't help it, especially in terms of the RPG combat, the more open, free flow, 360 degree style of range based combat where your strikes matter, your movement matters. You know, there's no real lock on. There will be a lock on, but it's more free flow kind of combat. Not necessarily in terms of Arkham, where it's all a one button press and then it's a fantastic move, but more precision and precise tactical based gameplay that you expect in an RPG, such as The Witcher. I absolutely adore it, the RPG mechanics, and I can't wait to see more of them. And just the overall first impressions of the game, I love the Egypt setting. It's been rumoured for a while. Fantastic setting. Great that we're finally going there. I've been to Egypt, so I've seen all that. I've seen the pyramids. I've seen the world. So it's great to see what it looks like in the modern, in like going back to how it was back then. Like I've walked down the streets of Cairo, you know, like I've seen all the old buildings that are there, but I want to see what it was really like back then. Origins will definitely deliver on that. The character of Bayek, the world itself, it's just so enticing. I'm really excited for it. I haven't been excited for an AC game like this since AC4. Where it's just that, it's just that sense of the unknown, that sense of mystery and beauty and fun and adventure. There's because Origins is one of the oldest points that is the oldest point they've ever gone in the games. There's still a lot of mystery and wonder surrounded around the Egyptian era. Even to this day, like historians researching the Egyptian era, there's a lot of mystery and a lot of things to solve and a lot of questions that are waiting to be answered. And I like that. I like that idea, the idea of Origins dipping its toe into that mythology, dipping its toe into that universe, and giving us a real taste of what that world was like. Much like the pirates in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, you know. Like, what was it like? Yes. And Black Flag delivered on it. Still one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games to this day. I'm really excited for it. And again, Ash and the AC4 team are working on it as well. So it's kind of gone full circle. So and I know what they did with Assassin's Creed 4 is phenomenal in my book. I love AC4, like I've just said. So I'm excited to see what this team delivers with Origins. But to focus on some elements, what do you think of the main character, Bayek? To be fair, when I first heard his name, I couldn't pronounce it. I sounded like a Yorkshireman, like Bayek. It didn't sound right.
But it's easy. Like when you get to know how to pronounce it, it's much easier than other characters that have appeared.
Marco, I struggled saying Agalar for nearly 2 years.
Oh, yeah, I know
I
you do.
struggled pronouncing Agalar for 2 years. So, just be merciful on me, sir.
So this should be a relief or something. So yeah, I like this character, at least for the few pieces of information that we know about him. I like the idea that as for what the developers has said up until now, he sort of represents ancient Egypt in a way, as in he's still tied to the ancient traditions and rituals. And he is more sympathetic to Egyptians than newcomers. And I think Ash mentioned that, or was it Jangadon, that he still is connected to the ghost of the past, which might have so many meanings. But yeah, I like the idea because, like you said, I'm really interested in the setting and the mystery that comes with Egypt, and so with the idea of ancient Egypt and the mysteries that come with it. So having a main character that is still tied to the old traditions, even if he has to find his place when the new world, the modern world is coming, and the old pharaoh era is getting to an end. It's interesting to see this kind of character, because being here tied to the old traditions, I'm pretty sure we're going to see some of the like the classic mysteries that we are used to think of when we think of Egypt. So, and recently I've read an article with an interview with Ashraf Ismail, and he said that AC4 had a big focus on exploration rather than discovery, while Origins will have a focus both on exploration and discovery. So having this focus on mystery and discovery and tying it to the main character, I think it's really interesting if it's going to be done well, of course. And so I'm really interested in the character. And I'm interested in the bond that he has with the eagle, with Senu.
Oh, yeah.
I know you have a lot to say about the eagle.
I have one or two things to say, yeah.
Well, basically, as a lore fan, I'm interested in knowing how Eagle Vision now is actual vision by the eagle, so how that is going to be the origin of what we know as Eagle Vision, as in this specific trait that the assassin, and not only the assassins, have throughout time, that comes from the DNA of the Isu. So I'm actually interested in knowing how that that had an origin in an actual eagle, and how Bayek as a character can actually see through the eyes of the eagle.
Yeah.
So that's a mystery, or that's a plot point that I hope is going to be well developed in the game. And but yeah, that's basically what I think about Bayek and the eagle.
Well, yeah.
But what do you want to say about the eagle?
All right. As you said, in terms of the plot point, like, they have to explain it well. As far as I was aware up until this point with the eagle, the ability of eagle vision is one of those things which was passed down, hidden within human DNA from the precursors, from those who came before. Like, that's initially how I perceived eagle vision. It was just one of those abilities which lay dormant within all humans, and it could be coaxed out. Now, I don't know how they're going to try and explain or tie this into the eagle. I'm sure it'll be interesting, but I think my only concern about the eagle is that it feels like a repeated mechanic. I played a lot of Ghost Recon Wildlands. I've played a lot of Far Cry Primal. That mechanic, like, ignoring the fact it's an eagle, it's still a surveillance mechanic, which I don't mind, but I feel like I've played it and used that mechanic enough in two Ubisoft games recently. And I don't know if I'm all that interested in using it in a third. I have a feeling that if I have to use it within gameplay, I will do, but I'll try and play it more. How do I say it? Purist, if that makes sense. Like, to try and go a bit more stealth, not using the eagle all too much.
But it's going to be harder, because you're not going to have what we know as eagle vision. So you're going to, because the interesting thing about some of the gameplays I saw is that if you don't use Senu, you're not going to have what we know as eagle vision. So you're actually be on your own. So it's going to be much more how can I say, interesting, or you're trying to have a mission stealthily without using the eagle. Must be really hard.
I think that would ultimately depend on how they balance the difficulty in the game. I think if it gets to the point where using the eagle is is too easy, almost overpowering. I may try and do the mission or the objective without the eagle, which is kind of pretty much what I did with Ghost Recon Wildlands with the drone. It was great at first, it helped, but then after a bit, I got a little bit bored of using it at the start of every location I got to, so I tried different kinds of gameplay. I tried doing a full 360-degree scout of the area with my binoculars first. Fair enough, I wouldn't see every target, but that also gives myself a personal challenge within that bit.
Exactly.
We'll see how it goes. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if they do it right and it's not too overpowering and it's not too easy to mark all your targets and all the rest of it, maybe it would kind of work. You could only mark so many targets using the eagle. That sort of thing.
For what I know, I think they mentioned that for every synchronization point, you get Seno to be better at scouting. So at the beginning, I guess it's going to be much harder to tag or find, every kind of elements that you might be interested in.
Yeah.
So also treasures and objectives and stuff.
Yeah.
So that might present a bigger challenge, especially at the beginning.
Well, so I think much like following the RPG and the roleplay design of the game, I think the game will be open to experimentation. That's what I believe. That's what I believe is key to Assassin's Creed now. Ever since Unity with the black box missions, you can approach this the way you want. You can either use the eagle, you can try and go in a bit blind and play it a bit more invisible stealth and see what happens. And but overall, not exactly the biggest fan of the eagle as a drone, basically, but in terms of the dynamic and possibly character development between Bayek and the eagle, I'm interested to see what they do with it. But that's just one of my personal problems or personal concerns with the game. I just don't want the eagle to make the game too easy. Although I'm sure that the different archetypes and the different enemy types that will crop up in the game will help balance that difficulty out. But the eagle doesn't affect what happens when you get up into combat, which has been completely redesigned which looks good. I personally love the combat.
That's really like the main one of the main changes that comes with the new RPG philosophy, sort of. And I am surprised by the combat, and this is one of the features that of the game systems that I would like to try the most, because it's so different, and it's called, I think it's based on what's called a hitbox system, which basically means that now the game is not going to get you closer to the enemy when you swing your sword or your weapon at him, but if you're not close enough, you're gonna swing the weapon in the air and you're going to create an opening for your enemy. So for what the developers said, it's going to create a much more kind of tactical kind of combat, where you have to study your opponent, learn the different archetypes, like you said, and create a strategy, choose the best weapon for the enemies, because there's going to be the Kopesh is like sort of like a sword. Then you're going to have like axes or spears, and so the length of the weapon and the speed of the weapon will really have an impact on combat, and that's something I'm really interested in trying, because it's so different than how it was in the past games, because you had your weapon and you had just to calculate the timing, and that was it.
Yeah.
So
I feel if you've played For Honor, I feel you'll be fine with this new kind of combat. The dynamic between offensive and defensive, the introduction of range, and the hitbox itself. The hitbox would still be there, but the hitbox is a lot more smaller. Like basically now the hitbox is simply there to detect the hit. It won't automatically pull the character towards the target to call the hit in terms of the detection. But yeah, I feel like I feel there's a bit of For Honor in there, which I like. I love the combat in For Honor. But this new dynamic between offensive and defensive, using the shield and the sword is really interesting. Again, very RPG based. More in terms of possibly say Elder Scrolls rather than something like another RPG such as The Witcher, even though The Witcher does have block and defense mechanics, but I feel like the whole dual-handed, one sword, one shield, that sort of thing, I got a hint of For Honor versus something like the Elder Scrolls. Again, it's just one of those things where when you see an RPG or RPG mechanics, you can't really help but think of other RPG games. Like, okay, so what does this feel like? How does this feel like in terms of gameplay? It's one of those things that crops up a lot when you see a lot of games these days that use free flow combat. No matter what, if a game has free flow combat, a lot of people tend to gravitate towards, it's like the Arkham games. So in terms of the combat, I really like it. I really love what they're going to do with this this more tactical, offensive, defensive, ranged versus melee close quarters combat system, and it evolves. It's not just the combat as well, but the damage output. Like now, there's damage points. Like when you watch the demo, and like you go into and it goes into the character customization or the character screen, you can see your hidden blade damage output, which indicates that if you focus on upgrading that hidden blade, you can kill enemies with one hit, like with a one-hit assassination. But if you focus your attention to other skills within the skill tree, you might not be able to kill them as efficiently with the hidden blade. And
exactly,
I like that. I like the idea of damage points being tied to weapons. We've had damage levels before, but it's normally just been a little bar or one or two little points, like in Syndicate, where it's like, okay, that this gives you 2 extra damage points. Okay. It didn't really make that much of a difference for a lot of the weapons, but this time round, because you're dealing with these RPG design mechanics, like your hit points and your defense points, your health points as well, all matter. So there's going to be an interesting layer of character micromanagement within that game, which they haven't showed off all that much yet. So I still think there's going to be 1 or 2 fun little things for them to reveal about that, and how
I'm pretty sure
the management of all your points and all your stats really affect the gameplay. What things does it make easier? What things does it make harder? The skill tree itself is great. Like you got the 3 different tiers, as it were. Feels a bit like Far Cry. Again, like you got the 3 different tiers, which I don't have a problem with, but it's very straightforward. It's easy to understand, and like you can branch off in all these different directions. I can't wait to start messing about, because it gives you the opportunity. I hope there will be a reset button, just to finish up on that skill tree. I hope there will be a reset button which allows you to reset all your points or all your skills. So you could possibly micromanage. That
might be interesting.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that might be interesting to shift your style through the story.
That's
what you meant.
I like the idea, or potentially the idea of the ability to create a build, which is again kind of arcing back to Assassin's Creed Unity with the different character customizations. I like the idea of being presented in an Assassin's Creed game the option to make a build. Okay, this build is completely focused on stealth. This build is completely focused on hard-hitting, powerful attacks, Again, it's a staple of RPG mechanics in terms of game design, and I hope that something like that will be in there to allow me to mix and match and play with different builds and play with different damage and defensive and health point outputs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a nice idea, because like it would be something completely new to the franchise, and very MMORPG, sort of like when you create your build and it would be nice in AC, because based on the different challenges that you are facing, you could create your build with the skills that you believe that might be more useful for that specific challenge, like, or for that specific mini game, like the gladiator arena that they showed.
Exactly. Yeah.
By the way, what did you think of this sort of mini game? Because they said it's going to be introduced through the story, but then it's going to be completely optional, and it sort of like reminded me of the I don't remember the name, but the same kind of challenge that you had in Syndicate, when you had to fight wave of enemies on the ring with Jacob or Evie.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
The gladiator, the gladiator arena. Oh my god! When I saw that, I got giddy. Because it's the fist fight arena that's been in the Assassin's Creed games for quite a while in one variation or another. We had it throughout the Ezio trilogy, the fist fights and the fight clubs, and then we had it in Syndicate. This time round, however, they've just turned that dial up to 11. And when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is Spartacus!" Like, did you ever play the game, the Ubisoft game Spartacus? It was a free game.
No, I haven't.
Like it was a side scrolling. I can't even say that. It was basically a fighting game. It was a side-based Mortal Kombat style fighting game, but like it was obviously set based on Spartacus, so it was set during the Roman era, and it had swords and shields. I did a video when I played the demo of it. Spartacus was a great game when it came out. I had a lot of fun with that. It was brutal, it was gory, it was like, all the blood and the guts. I had a lot of fun with that. I felt like this was the next step for that Spartacus game. I feel as if it was. I feel as if it was like, okay, this Spartacus game, this is on Ubisoft's end. Probably this is how I imagine or hoped it would have happened. It's like, okay, we've got this Spartacus game. It's done really well, but not all that well to warrant a sequel. Then you've got Ash and the Origins guys. It's like, hey, well, we've got this game. We need a fighting arena type thing. It's like, well, okay, you can have what Spartacus and just make a big massive gladiator fighting arena, and I really like it. I'm really excited, and I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat because it looks so awesome, and I think the new combat system will really complement the arena. I feel the arena itself will be one of those activities that you can always go back and do and enjoy. And again, as we were talking about different builds and different loadouts in terms of your weapons and your character customization, the arena would be a great place to test out those builds against hard bosses and tough opponents. I really like the arena. I'm sold on it. It looks awesome.
And now that you mentioned bosses, this is another element that they introduced with the game, and not just in the arena, which is sort of like the culmination of the mini game after you fight all the waves of enemies. But they said they introduced bosses and mini bosses in the game world. And for what I saw, there are actually also bosses among the animals. So, what do you think of this new element, like having actual bosses in AC, which are not necessarily assassination targets, but they're actually just bosses? all over the world.
Well, we've had bosses in Assassin's Creed before. In the form of the 4 legendary ships in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Yeah.
So you had the 4 big legendary ships, at each corner of the map, where you had to 100% max out and level up your jackdaw before you were even capable of taking them on.
Try that.
They were still hard hitting even with your jackdaw fully built up. They were tough fights, and again, that is another step into kind of the RPG combat system, in the sense that to defeat those ships, to defeat those legendary ships, you had to play it a couple of times. I don't know about you, but I had to play it a couple of times, and I had to learn the way they attack. I had to plan and coordinate how I'm going to attack them. The best example is when you're fighting the 2 ships at once. Where they both come right past you, and natural sense is to go right through the middle, but if you go through the middle, you get battered on either side and you quickly die. So then you have to try and scoot around the outside and let them try and take one out, and then they go past you, and then they both turn in opposite directions and come back towards you. It was really about studying the attacks of those ships, and if they can bring that feel and that idea of challenge versus study versus strategy into some really compelling boss fights, even if it's just a one-on-one fight, or you versus a big giant snake, which we saw in the trailer. If they can bring challenge and strategy to those boss fights, rather than just having, here's a thing, kill it, they'll be really interesting. And again, like, you've got the gladiator arena, you've got these boss characters, the legendary animals. I think that's interesting. And the legendary animals, I have a feeling that was just kind of put in there to combat the crafting from Assassin's Creed 4, where I feel that once you got to the Aegean, you could pretty much max out the holsters and your health if you knew where to go. You could get a little bit too overpowered a little bit too early in Black Flag if you knew where to go to get a great white shark hide, or to get this cat, or to get this one, or to get the white whale and that sort of thing. I feel like the legendary beasts will most definitely be tied into the crafting system. So when you get, I'm sure there'll be armor or weapons which will be epics or high-end legendaries, or exotic armors and weapons which can only be crafted with skins and whatever and materials from these animals. So again, those legendary animals in there will definitely give an extra layer of challenge and sense of progression. So you need to level up to a point where you can find these things and kill them. In return, you will be given specific pieces of loot, specific crafting materials which allow you to craft X weapon, X armor piece, etc.
Yeah. Exactly.
But in terms of just boss battles in general, it's about time. I mean, we've had a couple of boss battles before, like Cesare and Rodrigo. We've always had like a boss at the end, but we've never just had random bosses. We've never had a random side quest with this guy over here, he's a big boss, and if you kill him, you can get this crafting material to build this thing. Go get it. Good luck. That kind of stuff has never been done in an AC game before, and I like that.
But I have a question for you. With the boss battles, which are, of course, tackled by combat and not by stealth, do you think that these bosses all around the game world, do you think they're going to reduce or eliminate the assassinations contracts?
I don't know, actually.
I mean, not the main missions, but the classic assassination contracts.
I think it could be a worthy substitute. I have no problem with that. I'm pretty sure To be honest, I'm not too sure. We need to hear a lot more about how the side quests in this game work. Because truth be told, as far as I'm aware, any side quest could potentially be an assassination contract, or potentially be a puzzle to be solved, or an exploration race, or whatever. Because I myself, I don't really know all that much in terms of what they've got planned in terms of the side quests. I'm sure a lot more information has come out here, there, and everywhere. But personally, I'm not all that bothered if the assassination contracts themselves, have kind of been quote unquote retired and replaced with these boss fights. I'm not bothered about that. At the end of the day, having those boss fights in place and having a good reward which I can benefit from is more appealing than trying to complete an assassination contract just to get a few coins and it's another dot on my 100% sync. You know what I mean? I would rather have purpose. I'd rather have purpose over
money.
Yeah, I'd rather have purpose over distraction, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I get it. So now that you you mentioned sub-quests, what do you think about the new quest system? Because this is another important element that was introduced, and the quests now are interchangeable. You don't even mid-mission, and the quests are going to be saved in sort of like a diary, in the menu, as it is in most RPG games, for example, sort of like in Horizon Zero Dawn, or like in The Witcher 3, of course. So what do you think of this new approach of starting maybe a lot of missions and then completing them when you're close to the destinations, like having a new management of the missions rather than a streamlined one?
I feel that I myself will be fine with it, because I play a lot of The Witcher 3. I really like The Witcher 3, and judging by the way they've presented it, it's, again, as you've just said, it's like Horizon Zero Dawn, The Witcher 3, in terms of you have the main missions, then you have side quests, and then you can have treasure and that sort of thing. As long as there's some cool stuff to distract me, as long as these side quests are worth the distraction, which is again one of the things why I hold Witcher 3 to such a high pedestal, because some of those side quests have more emotion and more storytelling, more beautiful and almost saddening and dramatic storytelling and interesting plot elements than, to be fair, a lot of main narratives of AAA games. I could play a 20-minute side quest on The Witcher 3 and get more out of that 20-minute side quest than I could do with a 5 to 6 hour AAA single player experience.
Yes.
Again, I think my final opinion on the side quest is, one, I open it with open arms. I want to hug it. I want to love it. I want to see more of that kind of stuff in video games. But I think I need to see how these side quests present themselves. If they're things like, oh, this woman needs to get this thing, go get it and bring it back. If it's going to be like that every single time, I'm not going to be interested. But if there's a side quest where someone comes up to you and says, help me, my kid has gotten lost has gone exploring one of the pyramids and he's gotten lost, can you find him? Then you have to go and explore the bowels of one of the crypts in the pyramids, where you'll have to traverse traps and solve puzzles and try and find this kid and then bring him back. That would be great. And then along the way I can get information about who's buried in that pyramid, what they were buried with, and all that and all those burial rituals that we all know from Egyptian mythology.
Yeah, it's interesting to say, like, for what I saw in the demo, there were a few quests, and there was this one quest in which Bayek interacts with a woman and a kid, and the way in which you see that he interacts, especially with the little kid, is really interesting, because you have the quest, not just you don't just see and interact with the characters, but you know a bit more about Bayek himself, in the way in which he interacts with the characters. Like, he is very sympathetic with the little kid, and he's following her, and he's actually worried about her when she when he knows that she's in danger. So I really hope that, like you said, this quest and sub quests have an actual meaning in terms of the narrative, not just explaining who the character is and how he has to position himself in the world, but also having actual emotional kind of connections with the characters, not just the main one in the main path, but also in the sub quests and in the sub quest missions.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't wait to see to know more information about the quest system, to have a better judgment about it.
Yeah, and to play devil's advocate for just a moment on the side quests, going back to The Witcher 3 again, which I will try and stop doing. At the start of the podcast, I said Witcher 3 has set a new precedent, and it has. If the side quests of AC Origins are great, the side quests of Witcher 3 are the hurdle. Like, they are the bar. If the side quests fail, then they'll forever be known as the side quests that tried to challenge or match The Witcher and failed. You know what I mean? That's my only concern. Like, that there is a bar. That there is a very high bar that The Witcher 3 has set, which, based on what the Assassin's Creed Origins has been explained as, it's going to try and challenge a lot of those bars. As I said, in terms of side quests specifically, the bar's been set, and I can't wait to see what they do. But you know what? I best of luck to Ubisoft, and I challenge them. I challenge them to have a go. Like, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, like, type of thing. Like, have a go at tackling tackling side quests to the level of Witcher 3.
Yeah, I really hope that they're going to challenge that kind of bar, like you said, because not trying, you don't know if you can succeed, and even if they fail, it's still an attempt at trying to do it this kind of different way of showing and telling the narrative.
Exactly.
And so even just trying it, I think it's a good start, especially for AC fans that are used to, let's say, the old ways.
Yeah.
The ways that we are used to from the past 3 to 4 games, you know.
Exactly.
So I'm happy they're going to try and shake things up a bit.
Yeah, shaking things up is always a welcome, especially with any video game franchise that has been going on for so long. Like, Assassin's Creed has been going on for 10 years now. 10 years. So those foundations don't need shaking. They need smashing to oblivion and then rebuilt brand new. Especially after 10 years, and Origins is definitely having a go at it, and I can't wait to see what they do. But again, as you say, it's better to try and fail than not to try at all. And if they try and they fall a little bit short of what many are hoping it will be, no harm done. At the end of the day, I'm sure the side quests themselves will be great, but it will definitely, at the very least, it will present lessons learned for the next game, which I hope follows suit from Origins in terms of its reinvention and the RPG mechanics and that sort of thing. I fear, I know Origins isn't even out yet and we're already talking about the next game, but I hope what Origins does succeeds, and that stuff can be taken on board into the next game. I would hate to see something as fresh and as interesting as elaborate side quests to be abandoned because they weren't as quote unquote as good as The Witcher 3. You know, I want to see lessons learned. I want to see games like The Witcher 3 challenged, and have a go, Ubisoft. I can't wait to see what you do with those side quests. Moving on, I think, because we've rambled on about side quests for a long time.
Yeah.
I touched upon the pyramids when we was talking about side quests, which leads us into open world and exploration. Like we've dipped our toe in it so far over the course of the podcast so far, but what do you think about what we've seen in terms of the open world and exploration, the pyramids themselves, like that sort of thing?
Well, like you said, I've been in Egypt as well, and having actually seen these places and this kind of mysterious history and this kind of environment, which is very, very fascinating, especially if you are the kind of person that really likes history. And I'm really interested in seeing how they're going to portray the world. And for what I've seen, it's really nice already, because it's not I read some articles recently, and it was mentioned in those articles that when you usually and in general, when you think of Egypt, you actually think only of the pyramids and desert. Well, actually, it's so much more. There are so many more locations. There are lush locations, like especially around the river Nile, and I really am interested in the locations that they already showed through actual gameplay and through screenshots or even just concept art. We know there's going to be Memphis. We know there's going to be the Fayum Oasis. We know there's going to be Siwa. And in the key art, there is also Abu Simbel, and I hope it's going to be there as well. Mm-hmm. I'm like this. I'm really interested in this setting and the environment, because the mystery that this kind of history brings with it, it's really it's the perfect playground for an AC game. I know I sound like PR, but it really is. It really is, at least from my point of view, from the fan point of view, for myself. And I know that this kind of setting is really easy to tie into the Isu narrative, because it's so easy to connect the Isu to the gods and all the pantheon, the mythology of ancient Egypt. And for what I've seen, it's like going back to the actual game world that we have seen. It really is detailed, and the fact that you can climb every climbable surface, even rocks and even mountains, I think it gives you more freedom to explore the world and seeing all the different kind of environments that we're going to see in the Egyptian gaming world. And of course, the pyramids are going to be, I think, for most of the fans, even not necessarily hardcore fans, they're going to be the first and most important monument that they're going to try and explore, both from the outside and trying to climb to reach the top. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some puzzles that allow you to get inside of them and try to be an explorer, like the actual explorers that went into the pyramids that studied these monuments that are so fascinating and still haven't given all the answers that we would like to know about. So yeah, the gaming world, the game world really seems interesting and enticing in a way, because you have so many things to see and so many things to do as well, and it seems really eradicated. How can I say it? It really has deepens its roots in the ancient Egyptian culture, because I've seen in some gameplay videos that if you just walk around in the streets, you might run into a ceremony with NPCs bringing statues around, or pieces of the statues, or like you really get into the culture. And this is something that AC has usually been the AC games have usually been good at showing, because like it's the same if you walk in the streets of London or Paris, you really get an idea of the culture at that specific in that specific historical era.
Yeah.
And being I really interested in this specific historical era, I can't wait to dive into the streets of the cities and see all the NPCs and the doing their like following their life. Because one of the good things, one of the most interesting things and elements that Ash talked about in his 100 interviews with everyone, is that the NPCs are going to have their own life. They're going to work, but after they're done with their work, they're going to to go back to their house and sleep. They're going to go to their toilet. They're going to follow, like they have their actual own life. And this is like going a step further than actually having tons of different animations for the NPCs.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect occasion to showcase the culture of that time.
I hope Ash realizes that with him saying that, there's going to be quite a few videos popping up of you following one person throughout his day in the life of such and such a person. Yeah. You know, it's like, and then just following them through.
I'm sure that
following them through the day. And yeah, I like that. I like the idea of them having their daily lives, and it just brings the whole world to life and that sort of thing. But in terms of the world and exploration, I like that they've gone back to their roots. It feels a lot like Assassin's Creed 1. You know, there's no jazzy new way to explore the place. There's no zip line. Yeah. There's none of that stuff. It's going back to old school, where you have your horse to move from city to city, and beyond that you can either walk the streets, run across the rooftops. You'll probably have guards on the rooftops, much like in AC1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. I definitely feel that they've gone back to basics with this game, in terms of how you traverse the game and how you navigate this world, while at the same time making new additions, that like the tweak they've made to the climbing mechanic, where now everything can be climbed, which frees up the free flow of parkour and climbing, where towards the end of like Assassin's Creed 4, Unity and Syndicate, sometimes you felt like it was a bit of a struggle to climb buildings, because you were trying to find this window ledge, that window frame, and sometimes you just couldn't navigate the building the way you wanted to. This time round, that's been completely freed up, which I like. You can climb mountains without the need of trying to find grip holds and that sort of thing. And yeah, it goes back to basics, while at the same time it frees up the climbing mechanics and the parkour. In terms of the world itself, just like you, as I said earlier, I've been to Egypt. I've seen the world. I've always wanted to see what it was like way back then. I've watched a million documentaries on Egypt throughout my life. I've watched a lot of films set in Egypt. The Mummy, Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. and all these great films and these great TV shows and documentaries, which all gave you a taste of what it was like. And like you jokingly said, oh, you know, history is our playground. That you the grand Ubisoft PR guy, but
yeah,
it's true. I mean, like every word of that, it's in my mind is true. I mean, like history is literally their playground. I mean, going back to every single AC game has always satisfied an intrigue and a lust to see that world. You know, I've always wanted to see what Victorian London was like being British. I've always wanted to see what France was like during the French Revolution. I've always wanted to travel and see the world of the pirates. You know,
of course.
there's always a sense of satisfaction and joy of seeing these worlds brought to life, and based off what they've shown, Origins is the next step, and you can tell a lot of work has been put into it, and the map itself looks massive. It looks huge, and it goes all the way up to, you mentioned a few places, but it goes all the way up to Alexandria, which is going to be there.
Yeah,
it was shaded out within the fog of the Animus, quote unquote, which I have to unlock, get to the tower, the sync points, and that sort of thing. That world is massive, and I hope the game runs well with it. I hope the game, the performance of the game, just in terms of specs, runs well on consoles. I have a feeling they'll use the same way for any tech or geeky people who are listening, that the same way Ghost Recon Wildland loads, where the entire world itself isn't loaded in one go, like a lot of other open world games tend to do, or fully load a large section of the game based on where you're standing in the map. Wildlands only loads what's in your field of vision, so the game is constantly loading sections of the map and removing sections of the map. So when you're playing Ghost Recon Wildlands next time and you're looking at something, know that behind you, within that physical space, within that physical environment, there is nothing there. And then the second you turn the camera, the game automatically starts loading what you need to see, and then deleting what you're moving away from, and that frees up a lot of RAM, and it frees up a lot of memory, which is able to help with the performance and the frame rate and that sort of thing. So there was a great lesson learned and a great trick learned with Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I hope Origins utilizes, especially with the detail and the vista of what Origins is going to be in terms of the map size. Can't wait to fucking go from one end of that map. I wonder how long it'll take to because you've got no fancy way to traverse the map. I wonder how long it'll take you to get from one end of the map to the other.
I really wonder that as well. They actually already said that you can go throughout the entire world just with Senu, which is which is a way to explore without moving. Maybe possibly at a faster speed, just to see stuff. But they haven't commented yet. But they actually said something like the roughly the map is the same size of Black Flag, but on land. So now we're not going to move at the same speed of ships, but we're going to just have chariots or camels or horses. So I think it's going to take us much more to go from one side to the opposite side of the map.
Oh, I can't wait to do that.
Fantastic.
On foot, I reckon it could take quite a bit. God. Yeah, like just imagining trying to put a stopwatch against it.
I'm sure someone is going to do that, like the YouTubers that went on like planets from No Man's Sky and tried to go all the way around the planet. I'm sure that somebody is going to do the same on foot with Bayek from one side to the other one.
Right, I challenge you. I challenge you right here, right now. When Origins comes out, from the top left-hand side of the map to the bottom right, you and me race who can get the quickest time. I challenge you now.
Wow.
The gauntlet's been put down, sir.
Oh.
Do you accept?
I'll try that. Okay.
There
Let's
we
try.
go.
All right.
Right. Moving on, let's talk about the two elephants in the room. The two biggest questions with Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
One, the Egyptian story.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you mean by Egyptian story? You mean as the setting or
Like
Bayek's story?
Yeah, but Bayek's story, the Animus story, what do you think that story is going to be? I have my own ideas, but what do you think? How do you think the game will open up in Egypt, in the Animus, and how do you think it's going to unfold? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't. For what right now we don't have as many information as I would like to know. They actually said that Bayek is the last Magi who is a sort of like a sheriff and is sort of like a keeper of the traditions. And something happened in his past in his home in Siwa, and so he has to leave his hometown, and he's going back. I think in the game you see it going back to Siwa. Pretty sure of that. And for what I saw on the AC website, he's going to have to follow a mystery of following the events in Siwa. He's going to follow a trail of information that will lead him around Egypt, and there's going to be a mystery. And based on the of course, there's going to be a lot of mysteries, I guess. And based on the on the trailer, of course, it's been said that the game will show how the Brotherhood was founded, or to be more specific, how the Brotherhood, as we have seen it in AC1, was founded. So its philosophy, its rituals, like the cut finger, or I don't know, eagle vision, or the hoods, the use of the hoods, all of that is going to be part of the story. And I'm interested in knowing how Bayek will go, starting from some a specific event in his hometown, which is going to be something bad that happened in there, and he goes on in his own story, so he's following his own personal story. I wonder how that translates to the foundation of the Brotherhood as we know it. And the trailer actually says they are the first that call themselves assassins. So as it was already mentioned in the past, the assassins as an organization have already existed before that, but there's going to be I guess Bayek will find some motivation to get into into creating, or how can I say, have a progression of the organization into the Brotherhood that we know. So introducing the rituals, introducing the philosophy, and maybe he might use the philosophy, introduce the Magi philosophy that he is representing to other people, and maybe it will create a sort of an evolution of the Magi philosophy into what we know as the creed right now. So it'd be nice to see. I mean, the past games haven't always gone that deep into the creed and its philosophy. Sometimes they have, and some other times the creed has been put aside. For example, in AC4, it was there because it was explained and stuff, but it wasn't like the center, the focus on the of the story. And I feel and hope that, considering it's one of the main elements that the Brotherhood has followed from that time on, I really hope it's going to be explained how Bayek and the possible other assassins have founded the creed, how they created the tenets and the habits that the assassins now have. So that's what I would like to see in the story, and of course all of that with the Egyptian history and mystery. So it's going to be hopefully it's going to be something like that. I really hope that.
Yeah. Quick question. I forget her name, and I ask you because you know everything. You're a walking AC encyclopedia. You put AC
but
Wiki
not by heart. I hope I remember that.
You put AC Wiki to shame sometimes, Marco.
I don't. No, I don't.
Humble as well. What is the name of the assassin that killed Cleopatra? The statue in Amunet, right?
I'm pretty sure it's Amunet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's been confirmed if she will be in Origins, but I have a feeling she will, because isn't Cleopatra around at this time as well?
Yeah, I think it has been mentioned that Cleopatra will be in the game. Yeah. Although it hasn't been explained how or why.
Okay.
But if Cleopatra is in the game, it would be, and the game takes place 19 years before the time in which she is killed by Amunet and the Asp. It would be a real a real shame not to see that, or at least have it mentioned. It would be strange not to have Bayek meet the assassin that will eventually kill Cleopatra.
I got a feeling Amunet will be the one that introduces everything to Bayek. I have a feeling Origins will as we know, Origins is set at that point where the old ways of the Egyptian pharaoh-based empire are dying, and the new era is stepping in. You know, the Romans are starting to appear. You know, that sort of thing. Because you have Anthony and Cleopatra so many years, not long after the starting point of Origins. So the Romans are starting to appear in the Egyptian world and that sort of thing. So, as you said earlier, it's that transitioning point from the old and the new. The Magi are the old ways of honor and law and authority. You know, protecting the land. And I have a feeling, as you said before, something bad will happen in Bayek's home village, which will result in Bayek possibly being banished. Most if not all of the other Magi are killed. Well, all of them will be killed because he's known as the last Magi. He will be banished. He will go out into the desert, into the world. He will ultimately discover and meet Amunet. And he will learn the ways of the assassins, or like these tricks and these ideas of a philosophy, you know, and he'll get the hidden blades and that sort of thing. But ultimately, I feel the creation of the Assassin Brotherhood as we know it now, it will simply be the next era of the Magi. You know, it's almost very Batman-esque in a way, where it's like, you know, something worse than something more deadly than the Magi is needed to protect this land. Something worse, something more mysterious that lurks in the shadows, something that is, as I said, a lot more dangerous. And that's where the Assassin Brotherhood, as we know it now, evolves from. And you have the ideas and the rules of the creed, the tenets, you know, stay your blade, hide in plain sight, never compromise. Those will be developed and come to fruition. I have a feeling there may be one or two more tenets there, because we know that there's 3 tenets of the creed. I have a feeling when it first started, I reckon there was 1 or 2 more, because it's a bit of a trial and error type thing. So I reckon there might have been one or two more tenets of the creed which were later dropped. You know, it's I hate to kind of put a religious spin on it, but it's like a lot like you have the religion of Christianity, but you have all these different elements like you have the Catholics, Protestants, Church of England, all worship under the religion Christianity, but each have their own rules and opinions about certain things. I have a feeling that that's kind of the way how the creed was formed. Like originally I reckon there was more tenets of the creed, and then ultimately over time they were either dropped or stricken from the record, and then ultimately the 3 tenets as we know them in Assassin's Creed 1 were formed. So it'll be great to see those footsteps, that trial and error time of the assassins, and watch the order grow from an idea of a protector better than the Magi to an organization that was feared throughout history and worked in the shadows, and ultimately were at war with the Templars. And that brings another interesting point of how the Templars fit into all this, because at this point the name Templar wouldn't have even existed, because the Knights Templar appeared in the Crusades. So would the name Templar be around now? Or would that be a name kind of like Abstergo, a name that is taken by the Order based on that time? You know, like.
Well, I expect because for the information that I looked through, I still haven't seen if there's mentions of the Templars, but I expect them to be there with another name, because we've always seen that. Most games say that the Assassins and Templars have always been there since the dawn of time, possibly with other names. I think it was mentioned in AC3, like William Miles said it more than once. And this is the perfect occasion to have the Assassins and Templars without their actual names, without the names that we know them for. So it'd be nice to, like, I'm sure that the Templars will be there, and I'm sure that they will try, because in the demo there's already mention of New World Order, and of course the developers have mentioned the fact that Egypt's the pharaoh rules are coming to an end, and the modern world is coming through from Greece and Rome. And so I'm pretty sure that this is like an environment that the Templars this is the perfect turf that the Templars would like to put their hands on, and Egypt especially with the potential ties that it has to the Pieces of Eden and to the Isu. So I think this is a great environment for the Assassins versus Templars clash, even before they had the names that we know them for.
Well, harking back to the first 88 Declassified that we did, we kind of called this. But when we we discussed the quote unquote origins of the war, the origins of the conflict. Where where we discussed Cain and Abel, and how the ideas and the ideology of these two organizations has always been there, but throughout the centuries it has evolved. It has taken new forms, new names. So yeah, I think the Templars they are the bad guy of the game. They always are, but much like Assassin's Creed Revelations, where the Templars are not really mentioned, it's kind of like mostly the Byzantines, you know, that sort of thing. There's one or two times when Templars themselves are named, like the assassination targets, but this time round, not being called the Templars, I want to know what they're going to be called, truth be told. But yeah, we deserve a gold star. Well, you deserve a gold star anyway because you called this. You called this way back then. You called this 2 years ago.
We both did.
So
and we decided to have a podcast about it. So yeah, I wonder if anyone at Ubisoft listened to our podcast and said, "Oh
yeah, like." Several years of work was completely rewritten just to feed our egos.
Yeah. That was that.
Right. Well, in terms of the story of the Animus, that a lot of that is still yet to be revealed.
All of that.
As you said, there's still going to be a lot of mystery. There's still a lot of questions to be answered, which I expect will be. I expect we'll get more answers in the run up. So when we got Gamescom coming up. And that sort of thing. But we would be extremely rude not to discuss the last and biggest elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The one topic that is, with Origins being revealed, the number one topic that everyone in the AC community has been discussing is the modern day.
The modern day,
of
course.
What are they gonna do? Because the modern day has, in my mind, always been the anchor for the franchise. Many have said, scrap the modern day. And it's like, well, yeah, you could, but at the end of the day, that would just be a set of games based at different points throughout history. Yeah,
exactly.
Fun as it is, it's not interesting. I like the idea of the modern day and the war throughout history in the past and the present.
Yeah.
And I said this about the Assassin's Creed movie, like the heart of the Assassin's Creed franchise has always been the modern day. That's how we see these worlds. That's how we live these worlds from one game to the next. And let's face it, over the last few years, i.e. Black Flag, Unity, Rogue, Syndicate, the modern day has gotten a little bit lacking, and based on what Ash has said, they've listened. They hear us. They've taken a lot of feedback, and basically, simply put, quote, we listened.
We listened.
Now,
yes.
As cryptic and as taunting and as teasy Ash can be, we've seen him throughout before E3, like when the T-shirt got leaked.
Yeah.
The T-shirt appeared and it was Ash, nice T-shirt.
He said nice
you
T-shirt,
know what I mean? Like,
yes. Everyone got crazy
He
about
likes
that.
to tease.
Yeah.
Yes. So when he says we've listened, it could literally mean anything.
Yeah.
But for fun at the very least, let's take the last modern day, or the last two modern days, last three were first person. Then you had the video
only
sequences in Initiates.
Yeah.
You had pre-made video packages in Syndicate.
Yeah.
What can they do now? How would they have listened?
Yeah.
Marco,
that's
put me out of my misery.
That's a great question.
Are we gonna go back to basics and get a classic third-person, present-day storyline with a brand new modern-day protagonist? Everyone has been clamoring for it for now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. half the franchise life cycle.
Yeah.
People have been wanting a brand new modern-day protagonist. Could we get it?
I really hope that. Basically, like you said, Ash was specifically interviewed and asked about the modern day, and he said, we looked at the forums and we listened. So when he said we looked at the forums and the comments by the fans and we listened, I guess that at least one or more of the main complaints that the community had in the past years, I hope it's going to be changed and mended in some way. So I know that we have seen that many fans have complained about the cutscenes, like having a present day made up only of cutscenes. So even ditching the first person kind of gameplay of Rogue and Black Flag. And so I hope it's not going to be just cutscenes, because usually, cutscenes, especially in Syndicate, they were made up in total. It was like a total of 13 or 15 minutes, which having 15 minutes of present day for the hardcore fans, and especially for the fans like you, that believe that the present day is the glue that ties together all the stories, instead of having separated bits of stories in different historical eras. Many fans didn't think that the cutscenes made justice to the present day and to the overarching narrative. And so I hope that at least we're not going to see only cutscenes. And having a third-person present day with a new character, of course, because it's a third person, that would be, I guess, the dream that of all the hardcore fans that are still that have played the first games and enjoyed the idea of roaming even in tiny mini open worlds where you could move with Desmond in modern day Monteriggioni, or in the Grand Temple of AC3. So having the idea of moving around in the present day in a location that maybe has historical ties to the past, to the past storyline. So how cool would it be to have a main character moving around Egypt, or maybe going into the Animus or Helix or whatever that is, and finding information and then looking for them in specific places in Egypt that were rearranged in a tiny mini open world in the present day. The same way in which Desmond, for example, roamed around the Colosseum in Rome. I would love to see that.
Imagine you've got taking inspiration from the Rome Colosseum in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Say the final fight of Origins takes place in the pyramid.
Inside the pyramids. That would be...
Inside the pyramid.
Yeah.
and then the MacGuffin that the modern day characters are after, which will be probably be a piece of Eden, is still in there. Then we go to the modern day gameplay where we have to explore the pyramid as it is now.
As it is now.
With
different elements of of gameplay than the ones that you see in the past storyline. That would be nice. Yeah. That would be awesome.
I mean, that would... having a proper modern day third person protagonist would be great. Second best, runner-up.
Yeah.
Go back to Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed Rogue's way of doing things. I personally like the first person stuff. The first person walking around and exploring the place. And I thought that the story was really well done. Like you had Assassin's Creed 4, you started doing all this intel and spy work in AC4 without necessarily learning as a character. As we, the player, we knew who Sean and Rebecca were, but as a character, you thought, who are these guys? But we, the player, knew better, and I liked that. Then going into AC Rogue, that there was this event in the building, and like the building's been evacuated. Assumingly, the assassins attacked the place. I can't remember why it was evacuated.
There was a virus.
Was it a virus?
And, the character had to go through the memories of Shay while the techies were working on the in the Abstergo building, and then he little by little had access to more rooms and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that was it. Continue on from that, but be at the assassin at an assassin base. You know, like we've seen assassins on the move. You know, going from Montergione and into the temple and all the rest of it. I want to see the farm. You know, I want to see a base of operations. You know, where a large portion or a decent portion of assassins kind of rally together, or at least go to every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, that would be cool to see.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let me pitch this to you then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go all out. They're doing an RPG game. Let's go all out. Let's create our own modern day protagonist.
That would be like a mix of like third person kind of character, but mixed with the idea that the character is sort of like us, but it would have its own story, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you could pick male or female. It could be done like Mass Effect, where you have the male shepherd and the male voice actor. You have the female shepherd and the female voice actor. You pick male or female. The voice is picked, and then you can pick a basic look for the face or whatever, and then there you go. You know, you have a third person modern day narrative with yourself as the main character. That is completely wishful thinking. Will it happen? Not in a million years. I don't think.
I don't expect that.
No, not at all.
But you would get like 1,000 stars if it happened. Like you would have.
If I get close, I deserve 1,000,000 gold stars if I get close to that. But I don't think that'll happen. That is extreme RPG design, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But I hope, I pray. But in terms of the modern day, Ash has said, we've listened, and knowing the way Ash likes to tease and talk about things, like recently that there was an interview with Ash where he was asked, we saw a Juno event on the map.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, what? Oh, they were there, and he went, It's like, and he knew full well they were there, and he's throwing stones into the pond. He's making ripples. He's deliberately doing it, just to see how people respond, and just to create intrigue and to create hype and to create discussion like this, and that's why I love Ash. He likes to throw a stone in the water and then watch the ripples and
but it's working.
It is working, and that's great, because I said before that this is the first time I've been excited about an AC game since Black Flag, and truth be told, I have a feeling that the majority of the community would agree with me on that, because of the break, because of the teases that Ash has given, because of all the little bits that people have been able to pull from the demos and grab from the trailers and all this stuff. Yeah. It has reinvigorated the community and reinvigorated that discussion again.
Yeah.
Like on Facebook, on Reddit, in the forums, on Twitter. It's really sparked that fire and passion again within the community, and I love that. All that's left, I beg them, I plead with them, bring multiplayer back.
Oh, multiplayer! Yeah.
The final piece of the puzzle. No, I've unfortunately had to let my love for the multiplayer be buried. I don't think that'll return. Not anytime soon, anyway.
Yeah,
but
not with Origins as well, but at least.
No, but yeah, again, my point being is that the heart and passion and fun has been rekindled in the developers and in the community, and I hope judging by what Ash has said and the way he likes to tease things, when it says we've listened, when it comes to Gamescom, if they reveal a dedicated modern day 1 minute trailer with a detailed narrative, I am telling you right now, the hardcore AC fan base
would go nuts.
Completely tear itself apart with excitement.
Absolutely, yeah.
It will blow the roof off the place, and there will be chaos. There will be dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. It will be absolutely glorious watching the community just scream with joy that the modern day has been brought back. It is fresh. It is new. We have a modern day protagonist. We can have a character that we can get behind rather than this meta version of ourselves, which was good at first, but I couldn't make a decision. The biggest mistake they ever did with the modern day meta version of yourself being in the Animus, playing these experiences, is when Bishop presents you with the opportunity in Unity to join the Assassins, where it says if you press play on this video, you're one of us, and there was only one option: press play. That was the biggest mistake they did, because they could have easily put yes and a no, and it doesn't really matter if you press no, you could have been forced to do it. You know, Bishop could have gone, you're not happy, well, you're doing it anyway. That would have been fine, because at the end of the day, having that player-based meta, with that, you need to give decision, and that wasn't there. You know, I'm happy playing the first-person meta. I, myself, as a player and as a fan, am happy to be immersed in and be a part of this universe, but give me something to do. Give me a decision. That's all I hope for, and I hope the modern day is gonna be back, bigger, better than ever. We say that with every Assassin's Creed game, but this time round,
hopefully this time,
a new era begins. I mean, if they can deliver on the modern day as they have delivered with the Egypt setting, if they can be true to that initial tagline, a new era begins, the home run will be a modern day. And we shall see.
We shall see, indeed. And that's a wrap for today's podcast. We have discussed the announcement of the game and our main impressions about the announcement and the game itself. Wayne, thanks for being part of this podcast once again.
Oh, thank you.
It's a wonderful discussion all the time.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I absolutely love doing this, and it will be the first of many. I guarantee it.
I really want this project to prosper, so I really want that to be true. So and it's going to be true. So would you like our fans to tell our fans where they can find you on social media?
I've much like this podcast, I've taken a bit of a nap over the last year and a half, but with this podcast, I will be gearing up with brand new content. So you can find me on YouTube under the name Wayne Davis 89. You can find me on Twitter, Wayne Davis 89, all lowercase, one word. I'm sure Marco will be a star and an angel, and put the links in the description. You can go check them out.
Yeah, of course.
And yes, bit dead recently, but Origins has been announced. It's the dawn of a new era, so it's time to get some more content made.
Yeah, it's rekindling the fire for you as well.
Oh yeah, I've got some great ideas. I really have. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, the fire. The passion burns.
Yeah, the passion burns, of course. And if you want to find us, of course, visit our site on www.accesstheanimus.com for every new information about the game and our articles. So that's it for the podcast. Thank you for following us and for listening to the entire podcast, which was very long. So we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye. Wayne, have you heard that you cannot pet cats in the game?
You what? You can't pet what?